Oh, shimmy, 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 shake.
Clearly Superman would kick Batman's butt, right?
Can you take a photo of this so I can send it to my husband?
You could make me cry, Kevin.
No.
Hi, I'm Lisa Schorfheide. I'm a Claims Services Director with Berkeley Environmental.
Hi, my name is Kevin White. I'm the AVP of Risk Management for Berkeley Environmental.
Hi, my name is Jason Wren, and I am the Regional Vice President for the South Central Territory. Hey, it was really great to be with you two today. I'm real excited to do this podcast and talking about the benefits of an insured site visit, which would include an underwriting perspective, a loss control perspective, and also a claims perspective. When I get the opportunity to meet with an insured face-to-face at their business and be able to look that individual in the eye and shake their hand and really add that personal touch, it's paramount to me.
What I like about it is I get to learn about the business, hear the story, hear how they got into the business. And sometimes those stories are amazing. Someone identified an opportunity, they're not afraid of hard work, and they've found a way to make a good living for themselves, their community, and all their employees. And they have a lot of people who actually rely upon them. And I know, Lisa, when you've come out and we talk with them, they know they have claims sometimes, and they're very concerned about that because they want to make sure that they're handled well.
Yep. And I like meeting with them in person because I like to hear their story.
Yeah.
I love the stories because it does give you a feel for the way they run their business, how they care about their employees, that they plan to be in business a long time. But I think from a claims perspective, hearing about their business helps me to really formulate who that customer is, what kind of claims they might have or have had, and how we can better meet their needs when those claims happen.
Yeah. And our industry is built on relationships and trust. We're not there just to ask them questions about their business, their livelihood, and how they got to where they are. But I highly encourage them to ask us questions.
I think one of the things that I like to highlight when the customer asks us questions is how, we're not a huge company, right? But they get to know us intimately. They get to know you and your group. We don't have 1,000 people across the country. So when they have a claim, they know who they're calling. They know who's going to be helping them. And I think that's a great story that we have to tell.
Absolutely.
But the best thing is, though, is that a lot of times people have a negative feeling about claims because they happen, and it's always about money and it's about trying to make things right. But having someone physically come to your site, talk with you about the situation and help you to resolve the issues and get that dialogue going to understand how it can be handled better. Because I know we've traveled together and customers are initially rather sometimes distressed about a claim concern. And by the time they're leaving, they're thanking you and saying, hey, when can we meet again?
That's what it's all about, just developing trust and building a relationship. And again, knowing that you're there to answer their questions and to help them get through a rough patch, and that you're going to be there for hopefully many, many years to come.
You can do all this on the phone, right? You can do it via WebEx, but there's nothing like sitting in a room with somebody, shaking their hand, looking them in the eye, talking about their kids, looking at the photos on the walls of their building and understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
Nothing can replace that.
I like meeting not only the owner of the company, but his or her staff. Most of the time, we're going to be interacting with fleet safety managers, the individuals that are sending over the change request, whatever it may be, add a unit, delete a unit, we got a new driver, here's the MVR. Getting to know all those individuals and they know us, and again, personal level, and I kind of put that personal touch on it all.
Getting to know them and know what their hot buttons are, how they run their business, what makes them successful, and then hearing how they care about their business, seeing their trucks, the pride they put into the vehicles, the facility and the operations. It doesn't matter what they're doing, whether it's regulated medical waste or if it's contaminated soils. The way they run their business helps you to understand how they will handle their employees and their vehicles to prevent claims from occurring. We're in a business to help people to protect their assets, but we also want to help our business owners feel that they hopefully never will need the insurance.
It's also great to talk to them about, what's going on in your industry. What do you foresee in the next 5-10 years? And how are you going to react, or how are you going to change and adapt to these changes? And to hear what they have to say, and then we can glean off of that and, again, try to do our best to provide them the best approach possible, which would include an all lines approach, which is what we specialize in with the general liability, the pollution, the professional, the business auto, workers' compensation, excess, and maybe even a site pollution policy thrown in there if they need it. So we have all the products that our insureds would want and need to protect their business and their livelihood.
So Jason, we visited quite a few customers. Is there any one that stands out? And I'm wondering if you're thinking of this.
You know what I'm talking. I know what you're talking about. You know what I'm thinking. I think this is the first loss control visit you and I might have gone on.
It was. It was.
The water park, right?
Yes, it was back in 2016.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So Kevin and I had a visit lined up with a brand new insurer I just wrote. Great company, great owner, agents, the best. Everything was great. So we walk up to the office, a small little office, and we get out of the car. Kevin and I kind of peek around the corner. And we look at each other. I'm like, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, it was a water park.
It was a
water park.
homemade water park, complete with 100-foot zip lines, 100-foot slides,
Diving platforms.
I think a jet ski or two there, diving
Fun
platforms.
place.
Yeah, canoes and rowboats.
Oh, look! It looks like so much fun. So first,
Did they offer you like a canoe ride?
no, they did. They did offer it. Yeah, so you guys are welcome to try that anytime you want. So before we get into the meeting, Kevin says, "We write the GL for these folks, don't we?" And I said, "Yes, we do."
We were prepared for all the trucking exposures,
Yeah.
hauling of contaminated materials, drilling fluids. We were good with all of this, but we weren't expecting the exposures to go along. And it was that conversation that we had with the customer and with the broker, and it got resolved.
Oh, it got resolved immediately, which is great. Everything turned out fine. They were able to find coverage elsewhere.
And we kept the rest.
Yes, we did.
But if you hadn't been out there in person, you wouldn't have seen that water
We
park.
wouldn't have known.
I just was really thinking about how the times I've gone out with you guys on customer visits, I have learned so much, not just about the customer, but about our underwriting, about risk engineering. Even though this isn't necessarily customer facing, I can take that back to our claims group and like, hey, let me tell you about this insured. Let me tell you about the equipment that they're using so that when the claim comes in, they can be more informed. They can take an approach that's unique to that insured. So we can use these visits in so many ways, both externally and internally, to build relationships.
And building upon your knowledge of what our insureds do, because we're in a unique business. We're not writing flower shops. We're not writing card stores or tile distributors. We're writing
High hazard stuff.
high hazard stuff, and we don't expect frequencies of claims to occur, but when we also know the claims are going to occur, understand that the claim is going to be something that you would anticipate from the operations. And every time I have gone out with a customer and I get to learn about their business, I learn about how they manage the risk. I learn something too, and that's probably one of the most rewarding aspects of the job is I get to build relationships with people, help them to know that they're well protected because we work for a quality company that has great resources, but also that we can help them to control the exposures they have. And occasionally we have claims, and occasionally they're bad claims. And what we do after the claim is very rewarding as well. We can handle the claim. We can make the payments. We're going to make them as whole as possible, whether it's the claimant or it's the employee or the business owner. But we also work with them to help them to prevent the claims going forward.
Our insureds have to know, and our agents have to know, that when we promise something that we're going to do it, right? And it's going to get done as quickly as possible, right? There are a lot of really good environmental insurance carriers out there, and I tell my team that we have to set ourselves apart from all those other companies. One thing that we can control the most is the servicing of the account, returning phone calls, returning emails, getting endorsements processed out the door as quickly as possible. And many times we have insurers that are sitting at a job site and they can't work on a job site unless they get an endorsement process. And so many times we have elevated that request to the top of the list. We get that out the door, and our agents and our insurers are just flabbergasted on how quickly we can process something like that and turn it around.
Just the relationship. It's. I was telling you the other day at dinner is I have serviced a customer here at Berkeley, but I also serviced him at 2 other carriers I had. And when I came in the door the third time, he goes, "Who are you working for now?" And I said, your insurance company. And it was a great relationship because I still am friends with that individual, even though he has sold his business. And then you've had customers I know you've serviced for many more years than you've been here at Berkeley, which is a long time.
It goes back to previous lives.
Yeah.
That I've had a couple of insureds.
They really wanted to be with somebody who understands their business, someone who appreciates them as a person, as a business, and can bring more than just a piece of paper.
We've had some customers, right, that have been through multiple brokers, but we're the constant feature there. They want to stay with Berkeley.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. So Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're working on now from a claims perspective and really drilling down how we can better help them understand what they're going through and how we can help them.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Just working with the team to pull together some data so that we can look at the insured's unique claims experience with us. And there's, probably 30 or 40 data points that we can pull on an auto or workers' comp, and then run a report, but then use that data to actually drill down and help the insured with some insights, right? Like, okay, you've had 30 workers' comp claims, and of those 30 comp claims, 10 involved low back injuries with your drivers from lifting.
I think that's great. And you're talking about specific to the insured rather than
Yes.
historically we would talk about industry trends, right?
Yes.
These are the major issues with a truck driver or
Right.
whether it may be.
This is insured
we
specific.
drill it down even more to the insured. I think it's fantastic. And I think that is some very great information that they can work with.
They've been excited about it because it's their data, and they're, I've gotten feedback like, yeah, I'm going to use this to go back and train my team, right? Is it, how many years has your employee worked there? Is it your older employees or your newer employees that are causing injuries? Is it backing up vehicles or, so it's a way to present information to a customer in a way that's useful to them, and then they can make business decisions about how they could perhaps reduce loss, cost, or just the way they're managing their business. It may not have anything to do with the claim, but maybe one little nugget of information helps them manage their business, and hopefully they see that we're a real partner, right? We're just not a sheet of paper that promises to pay. We're actually in the trenches with them, building a relationship and helping them run their business as effectively as they can.
Yep.
And we also have resources that are available. So when you identify a trend, whether it's backing accidents or rear end collisions, we have training programs and resources available to help them become best in class and prevent those claims from occurring.
I know we've had many insureds over the years where we've, I'm going to say, turned them around because they were operating, fine, but there's always room for improvement. And the more and more you can get in front of them or speak to them, the more information you can provide them, the better.
Yeah, but even if you have a claim and it's 100% reimbursed through insurance, it's still a business impediment. That truck's down, that employee's out of work. Things don't happen when people are out of work and equipment's not working. So anything we can do to help our policyholders to prevent claim, to become more efficient, and to operate as smooth as possible is really kind of rewarding. When you see them every year over year, they're increasing their sales, they're increasing the number of employees they have, and you realize you're part of that. It's a very rewarding feeling.
I was thinking about the value of having our claims handled in-house, right?
Yeah.
So some of our competitors, maybe most of our competitors, use third-party administrators. They don't know those accounts. They don't know the business. So there's a lot of value to having our own people handle those claims. And nothing makes me happier than when I go visit a customer for the first time. They're like, oh yeah, I love such and such, right? I love that adjuster. Or I had a customer tell me the other day, he's like, oh, I know that when I report an auto claim, if I don't have all the information, this adjuster's going to be calling me. He's trained me. But you can just tell there's a relationship, and they know who we are. We know who they are. It's just nice to see the customers recognize the value of those relationships.
We have more invested in the
Yeah.
claim. We have more invested in the process than a third-party TPA would,
Right.
right?
So Jason, if you, and Lisa, if you ever thought about something, if you would like an insured to know something about us, what would be that one thing you'd want them to know?
We want them to succeed because if they succeed, we succeed. It's a symbiotic relationship, right?
Totally agree.
Yeah.